name is Sherwood, and today I will be talking to you about the lack of an organization for the deaf here in the eastern Idaho area. Now, there's not an exact definition as to what deafness is, but medicalnewstoday.com defines profound deafness as profound deafness means the person cannot hear anything at all. They are unable to detect sound, even at the highest volume possible. There are 4 classifications of deafness. 1, there is mild deafness, which means the person who is currently losing their hearing can rely on conversation by reading lips. And then there is moderate deafness, where they may need corrective hearing, such as hearing aids, and then they also rely on lip reading. And then the other classification, the 3rd one, is severity deafness, or severe deafness, which means that they have to wear hearing aids in order to hear anything that anybody around them is saying. They also can rely on lip reading when involved in a group conversation. And then, of course, there's profound deafness, where the individual cannot hear anything. I believe that understanding and learning ASL, or otherwise known as sign language, can be beneficial to all, simply because of the fact that we live in an interactive world, especially a busy interactive world where everyone is on the go and they're trying to get things done as fast as possible. But when you are deaf, you have to take a step back and slow down to get to what you want to do. You have to take that extra second to explain to others what you need done or what you want from them. The reason why I believe we should have an organization in eastern Idaho for the deaf is because I grew up with a girl during junior high and high school whose parents are deaf. Her mom was born hearing, but lost her hearing due to the fact that she got sick with meningitis when she turned 2 years old. But her dad, on the other hand, was born deaf. Miraculously, all 3 girls were born hearing. Because of the fact that I had never been exposed to anyone who was deaf beforehand, it opened my eyes to other aspects of the world, where there's not people who are just hearing or hard of hearing, or who are just getting old and losing their hearing because of loud music or just old age. There are actual cases where people have lost their hearing due to accidents or sickness, or they were just simply born deaf. There are many ways that we can help those around us who are deaf or hard of hearing to feel less isolated from the world. One of those ways is becoming involved. In order to become involved, you can either learn about the culture, go meet somebody who is deaf or hard of hearing and talk to them, or at least try, especially if you don't have any experience with sign language. Which brings me to the next way of becoming involved is learning sign language by taking sign language classes or learning from somebody who you may know or may want to get to know. They would probably be more than willing to help you learn. Another way to help out and be involved is to make things less awkward for everyone, which means one of the ways is not to think of them as disabled. Yes, deafness is classified as a disability, but in my opinion, it's on the lower spectrum of disability, because there are many people who are successful who are deaf, or who have become deaf and have to live their lives because of this, but they still want to succeed, just like anybody. Another way is to be confident when you're talking to somebody who is deaf. Don't be scared that you're going to mess up a sign if you do learn how to sign, or if you just feel awkward because you can't really communicate with them without writing on a piece of paper. Just feel confident, Don't make things awkward. It makes the whole transition that much easier. And when there's someone in a group conversation who happens to be deaf, make sure to look at them while you're talking to everybody else. Include them in the conversation. It makes them feel included with the conversation, included in the group, and just simply included in society. Another way to help transition hearing community with the deaf community is finding ways to help or learning ways to help them. One way is volunteering at a local organization in your area. Of course, unfortunately, we don't have an organization for the deaf here in Eastern Idaho, but luckily there is one in Boise, but that's just too far for some people to travel. Another way is donating to an organization or a charity that helps those who are wanting to buy hearing aids, but they just simply can't afford it. Even the smallest donation can do a whole lot for those who are in need. And lastly, you can create something to help. There is an article that I read on Forbes.com. A student in Berkeley named Triabalt Duchmin. It's a German name, so I had a hard time pronouncing it. But he was the only one in his family who was hearing. Everyone else that he grew up with in his family was deaf. So he had many challenges. He had to sign and interpret at school meetings, at other activities within his life. But when he was in college, he had the idea to make signing gloves. And they were a great success when he was interviewing those who were deaf. But there was one slight problem. Not all deaf people know how to sign. Many deaf people rely on lip reading, which made him pivot his idea to making an app for those who are deaf or hard of hearing. Now, if everyone in a group who is having a conversation has this app, they can all turn it on, and it has voice recognition software where it will take every person's words and put it in a little bubble. That way the person who is deaf or hard of hearing knows exactly what's going on in the conversation, and that way they don't have to go and isolate themselves until that conversation is done, until they have to wait to have a one-on-one conversation with somebody. The purpose for this video is to urge all of you to help your fellow deaf and hard of hearing community within your own community by simply helping whenever you can, by donating or helping out at a local organization, or simply by learning sign language and learning their culture. And even if you learn the very basics of ASL, it makes a world of a difference with many people. Or you can just simply become fluent and make everybody's day better. Thank you.